What up, y'all? Glory be to God. Welcome to the Kingdom Woman channel where living for God is made practical. I'm Mariah, and I'm on my way to the gym early this Sunday morning. I'm about to go get my workout again before church start. But yeah, I just wanted to come to spaces with y'all. God woke me up early this morning. It started me on my way. I'm just playing. But so I wanted to come touch bases with y'all real fast. And while I was up, I'm not really 100% sure why, but I was thinking about Revelation 6 and Revelation 13. Revelation 6, I'm not sure which specific verse, but talks about how hyperinflation will be made manifest throughout the earth realm, and that compensation for a day's wage will be only enough to afford a loaf of bread. And Revelation 13 talks about how the plan of the Antichrist is to make it so that if you don't accept the mark of the beast, you'll have to you won't be able to either buy nor sell in the earth realm, right? And so I was thinking about, like, what type of business solution would the church operate on or operate through if that type of system is made manifest in the earth realm. And the only type of system I could think that you would be able to operate off of is the service for service system, where the need for money is minimized to the maximum extent practicable or minimized or eliminated completely. And when I say minimized to the maximum extent practicable, then that means you operating on the enterprise level. Now on an individualized level, then that would just mean service for service. That would mean 5 people in a neighborhood specialize in a unique specific area. They have abundance of resources, or they either have a skill set that they could offer as consideration for whatever someone else in that system could offer for consideration. And that could be sufficient on a local and individualized level. So if my neighbor grows corn and I produce honey, then I will offer my corn for your honey. Or if my neighbor is a carpenter, then I will offer my corn for your carpentry services, something like that. But on an enterprise level, then you talking about service for service. If you want, okay, let's say I'm a farmer or something, and you have to sustain off of a service for service system, then that will be labor for food. That would just be labor for food. And you know what I'm saying? I really wouldn't necessarily be worried about if I was the business owner about getting people to buy into this system. Because if I can offer you a specific amount of food for labor that surpasses what you could get, what surpasses that loaf of bread, that's the only thing you can buy with working another job, then the consideration that you are providing, the compensation you are providing is better, you know what I'm saying, than what they would get working anywhere else. You know what I'm saying? So you don't necessarily have to worry about buying in. People will buy in, and then everybody else who is not interested in buying into the system, then you know what I'm saying, they just not gonna eat. They gonna go work somewhere else, and then they gonna get that check, and then they gonna find out that, you know what I'm saying, that they still hungry after doing all that labor. So I really wouldn't even worry about buying. I think the people who are interested in not taking on the mark of the beast would be willing to buy into the system without you having to advocate for what you're promoting through establishing like this type of system. And I don't know where this came from, but that's pretty much how my mind think all the time. My mind is always thinking about business solutions, because that's actually my area of expertise. My area of expertise is creating unique individualized business solutions for my customers. And I usually don't work with the same customer on the same solution within like 5 years. It never happens, because in the federal government, most of the solutions that you provide, most of the contracts that you establish, they're established on like 5-year plans. So you establish a 5-year plan, you actually conceptualize it, so you imagine it, and then, you know what I'm saying, you make a plan for it, and then you manifest it, and then you see it through to its completion. And then it's not complete until the customer is satisfied with what the solution that's provided was. So, you know what I'm saying, you got to see it all the way through. So, you know what I'm saying, and then within that, after that 5 years, you might provide another solution or a similar solution, but it's really never the same because of technological advances. And then you could be dealing with a different customer, because the person who you work with 5 or 6 years ago, they moved, they got a different job, so now you're working with a whole different set of people. It's a whole bunch of different stuff. You're working with a fixed budget, because, you know what I'm saying, federal money is budgeted. I'm sure everybody knows that right now. Federal money is budgeted out, so every solution has a unique, specific budget that you got to operate through. So whatever the plan is, you already got to work within whatever the budget is supposed to be. And I'm usually working with right around 20 projects. So that's all I really think. Well, that's not all I really think about, but that's, you know, I'm usually just pulling business solutions out of thin air. That's actually my area of expertise. And then making them come into reality. So that's what I was thinking about, how somebody would operate off of that business. I mean, service for service. Because you got to think about it. If hyperinflation is an issue, then the value of money, the perceived value of money, you know what I'm saying, you could either understand that the value of money is not even relevant anymore, or on the other hand, you could, if money is your ruler, money is your God, then you would see that the value of money is so high that you just willing to do whatever for it. So then you would sell out. You know what I'm saying? But if you don't think the value of money is that high, then you would be willing to enter into a service for service type system anyway. Because if hyperinflation is an issue, then what you can use that money for, you know what I'm saying, it really is of no value, because it's not going to stretch that far. So by the time you have a skill, or you have a specific set of resources, you know what I'm saying, you better off entering into a service for service type system, or consideration for consideration type system. Because you know what I'm saying, everything that, and then when you are creating these business solutions, money is not the only form of consideration. And consideration is just anything of value, like money. But most people think of money, that's what everybody operates off of right now. But consideration is anything of value. So that's your resources, or, you know what I'm saying, your time, your labor, you know what I'm saying, you know, anything of value. So, you know what I'm saying, it don't have to necessarily be service for service. That's just what I named it right now. But it's really consideration for consideration. But really, that's what That's what most businesses operate off of. Consideration is just most often money, but it don't necessarily have to be. So it's not necessarily a foreign concept. It's just most businesses operate off money. But if you can only use money and it's gonna only stretch so far, or if you don't have the ability to buy and sell, then you don't need money anyway. You know what I'm saying? You're not even gonna need the money. But if you operate on the enterprise level, then you may need money. So then that's when you would have to limit your interaction. You know what I'm saying? Limit the transactions that you make with money to the maximum extent practicable. You know what I'm saying? Because if you operate on an enterprise level, then there may be business expenses that, depending on how large your business is, it's just going to be business expenses that you can't get around. But if you operate on the enterprise level, then your business is an entity in and of itself. That's what a corporation is. Like, a corporation is an entity in and of itself. So, you know what I'm saying? And you got to understand, when you're talking about business, they got specific rules and stuff like that for businesses that don't apply to individual people. You know what I'm saying? If you operating off, you know what I'm saying? So you wouldn't really, I ain't 100% sure, but I don't think you would want to be operating off a LLC or nothing like that. I think you would be, want to operate off a corporation because they have specific protections and stuff. But I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, a local small business could be sufficiently sustained off of consideration. And you really wouldn't even need to cover your business expenses by buying or selling anything. But if you scaling up, you running a large enterprise or something like that, then, you know what I'm saying, you would have to rethink that, just based on how your business function. But if I was operating on an enterprise level anyway, I would want to consider making myself as self-sufficient as possible. And then, depending on what part of the country you live, to me, that would be me running off renewable energy, solar or wind if you live in a windy area, or something like that, moving everything to electric. Because, you know what I'm saying, if you have to operate off of gas, then you there's no way your business is going to be able to sustain if you got to operate off gas. You going to have to buy or sell gas. You know what I'm saying? But, you know what I'm saying, there's a lot of stuff that you can buy that's battery operated. Like, you know what I'm saying, I don't know if your equipment, you will have to just take into consideration, what type of equipment or whatever you have that could be moved over to electric, because that would be your easiest bet to become self-sufficient. You know what I'm saying? Then you got your water expense, but it's a solution for that too. But yeah, that's what I was thinking about. That's what I was thinking about. I don't know why God sent me to Revelation 6 and Revelation 13. But you know what I'm saying? If you, and you know what I'm saying? And this is why I don't really talk business with people that really don't do business, because you know what I'm saying? It's like, so, you know what I'm saying? If the world is moving into a place where AI is taking everybody's jobs, and nobody is going, and people are getting laid off, and inflation is super high, you know what I'm saying? That's like the perfect opportunity for you just to let money go, for real, because you're not going to be making any, for one, and then if you are making any, it's only gonna stretch so far. You know what I'm saying? So if they're not giving raises, then you know what I'm saying, you have to ask yourself what's important to you, and evaluate, because quiet as it kept. Even, even now that we don't operate on that type of system, a lot of people do shady stuff for money. So it's just that's what it's gonna look like. It's just gonna look like more shady stuff for money. But you know what I'm saying, if you don't buy into that, then you know what I'm saying. And then you know what I'm saying, a lot of people, they just not gonna listen, and then it's just gonna be too late, and then it's just, you know what I'm saying. But yeah, that's what God had put on my mind, implementing that type of solution. I don't know why. But alright, that's it. Yeah, that's it. I don't know. But alright, if y'all have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them down in the comment section. I might make it's early. And I might make another video just for you. Until next time, bye guys.